Today we are going to go through my entire physical TBR, and I'm just going to say a little bit about each book, and then yeah, I guess. So I'm going to start with this shelf up here, which is my mystery thriller horror shelf, and I'll just talk about any of the books that are there that I have not read yet. So the first one is The Reckoning of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodkin. This is kind of a weird book, like horror-y, thriller. I don't know, it's weird genres, but it's in my horror section. This is the second book in the Shaw Confessions, which is a spin-off series for the Mara Dyer series or trilogy, which I really love. They're kind of problematic, but I love them. I think they're really like guilty pleasures, but I have not gotten to this second one yet, and I believe the third one is out now. And I have All the Rage by Courtney Summers. I read Sadie by Courtney Summers last year or the year before. I'm not sure. And I highly enjoyed it, so I decided I wanted to read some of her other books. So I don't really know what this is about. I just know it's kind of like a thriller mystery type thing. Then I have Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, which my mom read a couple months ago and absolutely loved. So I was tasked with reading it. For some reason, this book does not like pull me in. Like, I'm not super intrigued by it, but I will read it eventually, I guess. Then we have this entire section up here, which is the Series of Unfortunate Events. I have read the first one, but I need to read number 2 through 13. Technically, I read them when I was a lot younger, but I am rereading them and I barely remember them, so I'm counting them as my physical TBR since I'm actively trying to reread them. So next we're going to go to my contemporary shelf, which is here and here. So the first one we have, let's see, we have Lillian Duncan by Donna Gephardt. So this is a middle grade book about a trans female child and a boy who has bipolar disorder. So I think that the representation is going to be really amazing in here, and I don't know if it's a friendship or like a romance type thing, but I think this is going to be really cute, and I just really need to get to this. Then I have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which is like a lot of people's favorite book. I think this is like some type of podcast thing. I have read volume 1 and 2 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, which has one of the main characters from this as like a side character that shows up a little bit. So anyways, I really love Alice Oseman's romances is in Heartstopper and like the way they are. So I don't know if this has a romance at all. I actually don't think it does, but I think like the friendship will probably be really good because I've noticed that Alice Oseman is really good at building relationships. I have the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. I got these from the thrift store just because I really love the 12 Boys of the Before series or trilogy. So I really want to read these as well. I think I might read these this summer just to get in like the summer mood, or right before the summer maybe, but yeah. All I know is that this is like a romance, kind of like 12 Boys I Loved Before, but I think it's like less known and less praised, but I could be wrong. I do have like more contemporary, more thriller stuff in a pile on my floor, like right over there, but I will be going through what I have on my shelves first, and then I'll get to that pile. So next is my historical fiction shelf. So first we have a few Shakespeare books. Oops. That I have in this Fogler Shakespeare Library Edition, which I read A Midsummer Night's Dream with for class, and I really enjoyed this type of edition. So I've been keeping an eye out for them at thrift stores ever since and on Book Outlet and stuff. So I have Twelfth Night. I don't know what most of these are about, just so you know, but I intend to read them at some point. And then I have King Lear, and I have Hamlet, and I have Macbeth. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I believe I will read this in high school eventually, but I'm not sure when. So I'm not probably going to read it like soon because I want to save it, but we'll see. Little Women by Louise May Alcott. In these gorgeous editions. Oh, I love it. I know this is about 4 sisters, and that's kind of all I know. I think it might be during like the Great Depression, but I could be wrong. Or no, the Civil War, I think. Yeah, I really don't know a lot about this book. Sue me, I'm so sorry. A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, which I started a little while ago and I only got a few pages in, just because I wasn't in the mood for this book, but I really don't know what this one is about. So, but it is in that beautiful edition. I'm trying to get all the ones in that beautiful edition. I think the only one I'm missing is Heidi. So this is my sci-fi dystopian shelf, and I only have one book on it that I have not read, and that is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I also need to read Gemina, but I do not own it. This is the 3rd book in the Illuminae series, and Gemina is the 2nd. But yeah, that's it. I have not read Illuminae in a long time, so I also need to reread that one. On my urban fantasy magical realism-ish shelf, I have The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young, which is the sequel to The Sky in the Deep, or is it like a spin-off novel? I don't know exactly. I loved The Sky in the Deep. It came in the first Owl Crate I ever purchased, and I just loved it so much, so I really want to read this. On my fantasy shelf, I have Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This is a sequel to Strange the Dreamer, which is about like a lost city called Weep. And I really, really loved that book. I think I read it like 2 years ago almost now. Maybe 1.5. I don't know. But I really need to read this because I loved Strange the Dreamer. I just have not gotten around to it because it scares me a little because it's big. And I just remember how like detailed and flowery Laini Taylor's writing is. So I just get a little nervous. Crown of Feathers by Nikki Pau Prado. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And I have not started this. I just have the bookmark that came in the Owl Crate with it inside of it. So I use that bookmark when I do read it. I, again, do not know what this is about. So I'm so sorry. Then I have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. I am currently kind of reading this one. I'm 56 pages in. But it's been a while since I read it, so I don't know if I'll have to restart it. But I am really enjoying this one. Just know it's about a girl whose sisters or something keep dying. These next 3 books I got from Owl Crates, and I have no idea what any of them are about. So just let me know if you've read them and convince me to read them. Shadow Facts by Julie Kagawa. The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chakshi. And The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This one sounds intriguing to me, I think just because of the cover and the title, but like, I don't know, convince me. I have The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I believe this is about a princess who is like supposed to be in an arranged marriage, and she runs away. And then the prince she's supposed to marry is after her, as well as like an assassin who's been sent to kill her. And you don't know which one is which. Which sounds really good to me. I just like have not gotten to it. Another 3 that I have no idea what they're about. Mirage by Samaya Dode. I am horrible at pronouncing things. I'm so sorry. Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz. And Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This one I can guess by the title kind of what it's about, but like, I have no idea. The final book I have on my fantasy shelf, I have more in my pile I think, is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I know this is like an African lore inspired fantasy tale with like different element houses, I think, kind of. Like, I'm not exactly sure, but this book just intimidates me because it's really big and I've heard amazing things about it, and I've heard people that really don't like it. So I'm not really sure if I'm gonna like it, and I'm just a little scared. Honestly, if you guys comment which book, like 1 or 2 books, I don't know, however many you want, I guess, books that you want me to read for sure, I will take like the top comments and I'll read them, and maybe I'll do like a follow-up video, like reading your guys' recommendations or whatever of my physical TBR. So please do that. Now we're gonna go to my piles. So I have a paperback pile and a hardcover pile, so I'm just gonna start with the paperback pile. So I have All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, which I don't know what it's about, but it's by Maggie Stiefvater. Had it on my Amazon wishlist. Someone so kindly sent me this, and the next book I'm gonna talk about. If it was you, please let me know. There was no note. I don't know if it got lost or if they didn't include a note, but there wasn't a note, and I'm really upset because I want to thank whoever gifted me this book and the next one I'm going to talk about. The other book they gifted me was The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This is a memoir that was also turned into a movie. It's about Jeanette's family life, childhood. I believe she did not go to school, and just having homeless parents as an adult and things like that. So I just have heard a lot of really good things about this book. This is Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. Nina LaCour is like one of my favorite authors of all time. I have Hold Still by her. Oh, so good. We're Okay by her. Literally in love. She writes the best books. Hold Still is probably one of my favorite books of all time. So is We're Okay, but like Hold Still is so good. So I need to own everything that she writes and need to read all of them. I don't know much about this book except for that I think it follows like Hollywood and like an old actress or something. And then I have What Elephants Know by Eric Dinerstein. My aunt gifted me this book after she read it. She really loved it. It's a middle grade. I think it might be In the Eyes of an Elephant in Nepal, but I think it sounds really cute, and the cover is gorgeous, and it's just super short. So and then we have The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is a book about, I believe it's Evelyn who just keeps dying and living waking back up but in the day that she died, and keep like doing this until someone identifies her killer. And it's just a very like twisty type book, I believe. And there's like this map. There's maps. Is there just one? I think it has to do, it's almost like a it reminds me of like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like they get invited to a party and Evelyn dies or something, and they need to figure out who it was. Like, it's very like Clue-like, and I'm really excited for this book. I don't know why I haven't read it. I tried to listen to the audiobook once, I just wasn't in the mood, but I will read it. Next I have Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. I have seen like bits and pieces of the movie with the Robert Pattinson in it, and what's her name? Oh my god, I don't remember her name. Anyways, I think this could be a really good book because from what I've seen in the movie, I really enjoy the movie, and I will definitely watch the entire movie from start to finish after I read this. Then we have Room by Emma Donoghue, which is about, I think it's in the eyes of a child who is the baby of his mom and his mom's kidnapper. And they just live in a room, and I think that they try to get out eventually. I'm not exactly sure. Then I have Gloria Bryan's History of the Future. This is about a girl who like has the power to see people's past and future like infinitely. And this is A.S. King, which I really want to read some A.S. King because I've heard a lot of really good things. This is A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. I believe this is a romance between someone who is mute and someone who is deaf. I've heard that it's really cute, and I think Books and Lala talked about it once. So I don't know. I just like, I feel like I read a Wattpad story that was really similar like this to this once when I was like 10. Like had this same premise and I loved it. So next I have Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman. I don't know a whole lot of what this is about, but I believe it's about someone who is on the autism spectrum. And I believe Neil Shusterman's own son has autism. So there's like Own Voices rep kind of, in a way. I've heard that this isn't like the best book, so I'm a little, I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but I think that it might be worth it for the representation. Then I have Dreamology by Lucy Keating, which has really bad reviews on Goodreads, but it's just like this girl who dreams of this boy all the time, and then she finally meets this boy that she's been dreaming about forever. So I don't know. I don't know. Then I have The Darkest Minds. I don't know if I'll ever read this because I'm just not a huge dystopian person. I don't know, like, I don't know, but we'll see. Next I have Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson, which I believe is about like girls with eating disorders, and one of them maybe dies. But I really love Laurie Halse Anderson's book Speak, and I think that she has a lot to say about really difficult topics and handles them well. Then I have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Literally everyone and their mother's favorite book of 2019. So I have to read it. I don't know when. I will though. Then I have The Hamilton Affair by Elizabeth Cobbs, which just is like both Hamilton and Eliza's life from like young, like 7 or 10 or something like that, and onwards. I did start it once, but I DNF'd it. I don't like to say that for books that I'm going to continue eventually. I just wasn't a fan of the writing, and I wasn't in the mood for like a more nonfiction story. So I have All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, which was the last Owl Crate book that I got. I think it's a mermaid story. Then we have With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I believe this is about a girl who is a teen mom, or was a teen mom, like is an adult now, and I don't know exactly, but she has a dream of like being a chef and like doing cooking as a living. Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which I'm excited for. I love this cover so much. I know some people say it's like nasty and makes them uncomfortable, but I think it's so pretty. I just know this is about a world where there are a bunch of girls on like an island, and they get sent food every so often. It reminds me of The Maze Runner a little bit. But there's like this disease that like disfigures them, like makes them grow extra things, and like, I don't know, like very body horror-y. Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. I have no idea what this is about in the slightest. I'm so sorry. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is a fantasy about like some type of library thing. Fresh Ink, which is an anthology just about like defying labels and just being who you are, I'm pretty sure. And then we have Invisible Ghosts by Robin Schneider, which I'm really excited to read. I love Robin Schneider's books, especially Extraordinary Means, but I also like the beginning of everything. And this is her middle grade, I believe. It's about a girl whose brother died, and she like sees his ghost and is best friends with him, and that's all she hangs out with. And I don't know, I think she makes like a live friend or something, but I think it sounds really cute and really like heartwarming, but also heartbreaking. So then I have Midnight at the Electric by Jodi Lynn Anderson. I have no idea what this is about, except for that Books and Lala liked it, and I trust her opinions. We have very similar book tastes when it comes to like weird speculative books. An Owl Crate book, Pride by E.B. Zaboy. I've heard mediocre and bad things about this book, so I don't know if I'll read it. I might unhaul it, but I have it for now. So if you have a differing opinion, like a good opinion of this, let me know. The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand, which I've also heard is mediocre. Then I have The Lost and Found by Katrina Leno. I'm obsessed with Katrina Leno as well. I have one here, one here, one here, and one somewhere else here. And then, yeah, I love Katrina Leno. I just need to read this one yet. A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I don't really know what this is about, except for that I love Libba Bray's The Diviners series, so I would like to read more of Libba Bray and see if she has other books that I will enjoy. And I have Dear Evan Hansen, which I might unhaul as well. There was a point where I went through really enjoying some of the Dear Evan Hansen music from the musical. But yeah, I don't know. Reality Boy by A.S. King. Weird, speculative, A.S. King, that's all I know. If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson, which is an interracial love story, and it's super short, and I've just heard really good things, and I think that it is going to be really adorable. Mischling by Affinity Konar, which is about the twin experiments that the Nazis did during World War II. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I believe this is kind of like a soap opera type drama. I think they made it into a Hulu TV show or movie. I cannot remember which one. But I've heard really, really good things about this. The Radical Element edited by Jessica Spotswood, which is an anthology about just like girls that dare to do more than they are expected to in their time. Lastly is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. Christine was the very first booktuber I ever watched, but I've heard a lot of like bad things about this book, so I'm a little nervous, which is why I have not read it yet, but we'll see. I wanted to support her anyways by buying the book, so we'll see if I enjoy it. I don't know. Please, please, please let me know in the comments which of these books I should make top priority. Maybe I'll do like a follow-up video reading the books that you guys say are amazing out of these, and I'll let you know my thoughts. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, night, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope it's going well for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment because it means so, so much to me. Bye!